Okay, let's try this again. Hey guys, this is my February 2023 reading wrap up, and we're gonna go over all the books I read. Now, I will say I did do a TikTok trend to determine how many books I would read in February, and I got 17. And I think my dumb behind miscounted because I think I put that I read 16 in the update, which is actually not true. I read 14 books in February. So I obviously failed miserably. So yeah, there's that. All right, let's get started. So first up, I started this in January, but I didn't finish it until February 1st. So technically it's gonna count for February because I finished it in February. It's the 60-40 Rule by Ellie K. Wilde. Honestly, it was cute. Don't really remember much of it. I read it in early February, so I don't know. From what I remember, I think he falls first. Again, don't really remember. I want to say I think she does interior designs a restaurant for him. Not entirely sure. Read it early February, don't really remember much. As you can see, this is why I wrote notes, because I knew I wasn't gonna have my life together. Okay, the next book I read was The Outcast. I definitely found that book from TikTok. I was like, somebody made a video about it. I was like, this is interesting. Go on Kindle, see it's on Kindle Unlimited, click, started reading it. Very much gives apocalyptic vibes. That was the first for me. This is also my first time reading this author, so I was like, okay. And then I think what pulls you in for this book, I saw a TikTok about it, and it was like she's in love with her boyfriend's best friend, and one night everything changes. And I guess that's what did it for me, and that's why I clicked it on Kindle Unlimited. It was like, read. Because I will say, I think I read it in 1 week. Let me try to swipe on this. Let me try to swipe left. When it's swipe up. Or, yeah, swipe up. Yeah, okay. Not the brightest, apparently. Alright, so then I immediately read book 2, which is called Petal. Also by Lexi Ray. He calls her Petal as a nickname. So, I will say I read this book because the book 1, I believe it ends on a cliffhanger, so that's what made me want to read book 2. If I would have known it ended on a cliffhanger, I probably wouldn't have read it. I'm not a big fan of cliffhangers, but these books keep doing it for me because that isn't the only book this month that I read on a cliffhanger, and I am upset by that. Yeah, I want to say the ending of book 2 really upset me, but then it changed my mind because they changed their mind. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it almost really upset me. Like, you were doing so well. Like, I was enjoying this book and you want to end it like this, but then she didn't end it the way I thought she was going to end it, so it's all good. Alright, let's move on to the next book. This one, again, I think I saw a TikTok about it. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I find most of my books, but I really don't remember this book, and it was Dirty Wicked Prince by Eden O'Neill. I read it in 1 day, so it must have been good because I devoured it, absolutely devoured it. Like, if I read it in 1 day, it's gotta be good because I read it in 1 day, so that's saying something. But I really don't remember what it was about. I feel like it was some rich boarding school, or it was about rich kids. I feel like it was a high school romance, or maybe college. Now I want to say high school. Let's go with high school. I feel like it was high school. Not entirely sure. Then another reason I could tell you I thought it was good is because I continued on and read book 2, which was Savage Little Lies. Again, don't remember what it was about, but it was good because I also read that in 1 day, and I literally read these 2 books back to back. So I think I read one on February 5th and then the next one on like February 6th. But again, it was good because I devoured both in 1 day each. So I don't know what that tells you, but it was clearly entertaining. I mean, I liked it. And next I have, this is book 3 of that same series, which is Tiny Dark Deeds. Again, don't remember what it's about whatsoever. Just know that I also devoured this book in 1 day. So, it must have been great. This is why This is honestly why I wrote the notes. Because if I had to go through each book and then remember what I wanted to remember about them, I would be here all day. This video would be like an hour long. I will say though that I believe it is a dark romance because I was kind of in a dark romance, you know, phase. Yeah, and I was basically reading dark romances all through the month. You'll find like one little sweet romance thrown in here or there, but it was mostly dark romances that I was going for. All right, next. Oh, I love this book, bro. Oh my God, I love this book. This book is called The Temporary Wife by, I think that's how you say her name, Katharina Mora. Oh my God, I love this book. I'm not gonna lie, I became obsessed with this author after reading one of her previous books. Forgot the title, but I also love that book too. I'll probably remember the title later, but at this point it's too late. Like, I absolutely devoured this book. I believe I read it in one day. Let me check my notes. I did, because I was already, can't talk. I was already waiting on the book to be released. So when it was released, I had already pre-bought it. You know, I pre-ordered it on Amazon Kindle, so it would deliver it to my Kindle when it was released. Yeah, so I was ready for that. I will give this book major points because I love when a book has the dude falling first. He definitely falls first. Like, I want to say my favorite part was of this book for them. So he was originally arranged to marry somebody else, but then he offered her something as kind of like a marriage of convenience, so where it works for both of them. And my favorite part was when they got married, you know, obviously you change your last name and stuff. She still wanted to use her last name, but he had immediately like ordered her a new ID and a new passport with their shade, like his last name on it. That was honestly my favorite part because she was just looking at him like, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. All right, next book. Oh my God. I don't know what made me read this. I want to say a TikTok did it because honestly, that's what influences most of my book choices is TikTok. I don't just go, oh, let me look on Goodreads and see what everybody else is reading. I don't do that. I go on TikTok. TikTok influences me without a doubt. They influence a lot of things, just to say that. This one was the wrong prom date, or the wrong perfect prom date, or whatever, because it's like the perfect scratched out and then wrong on top. It was cute, it was sweet, it was very PG. I kind of want to don't label it as slow burn just because it's PG, but it was kind of slow. Honestly, it was a cute read. It honestly wasn't giving me what it was supposed to give because I was in a dark romance kind of era, and this was very sweet, so I kind of read it and then I was just like, that was it. Kind of wanted more, you know. I really loved it though. It was cute. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. What I will say is I probably won't read it again. It's not one of those, oh, I loved it so much I'm gonna reread this later this year, because you know, I loved it that much. If anything, I would definitely read the other book before that, The Temporary Wife, again. Loved it. All right, back to that one series I was talking about, the apocalyptic vibes. God, I cannot speak. I finally read book 3 because I was unsatisfied with the way book 2 ended. And I will say that I'm upset. It ended on a cliffhanger. And I'm just like, I go look and see when the next book's coming out. It says like, I want to say the date is March 24th, 2023. And I'm like, dude, I think it's February 14th because I read it on my birthday. I was like, dude, I gotta wait a whole month and a half. I am upset by this. Like, I'm really looking. I'm like, seriously, this is when it comes out? But anyway, besides the point, I definitely wouldn't have read it if I knew the next book was coming out that soon. I probably would have waited till like mid-March. That would only had to wait like 10 days before the next book came out. So mad this ended on a cliffhanger. The cliffhanger is what really got me, and that's the reason I need to read the next book. I will say, I think I enjoyed this book mainly because he was like, you know, never, like, he had relationships, but he wasn't really emotionally attached to the relationship. And he kind of felt like, you know, the world was against him. I'm not gonna say the world was against him, but like nobody in his life actually stuck around like they were supposed to. Like, you have people in your life, but they always leave. I guess that's kind of vibe he was giving me, honestly, from reading the book. And he met this girl, and I feel like, you know, he fell first, you know. Yeah. That's probably my most favorite part of that book, is that I feel like he fell first. But the cliffhanger really just does it for you. Like, I feel like emotionally, I was going through so much trauma with this book towards the end. I'm like, dang, just let me be happy. All right. The next book I read was Good Girls Never Rise. I will say, I do remember this. It's dark, very traumatic. Read the trigger warnings first, because I swear to God, it wasn't worse than some other dark romances I've read, but always read the trigger warning. Yeah, always read the trigger warnings with dark romance books, because sometimes it's a little bit more than you can handle. I mean, obviously, I could handle this one because I devoured it in like one day. But when you read it more, it was more like very traumatic, I will say, because of what the girl has been through. It started off kind of giving me the vibes of a bully romance. It is definitely like, and I say bully romance, I mean bully romance, because he's just like, I don't know how to describe it, because it was also like of convenience too. Like, it worked, like their relationship, it kind of worked for both of them, if you know what I mean. Back to my point, you know, for the most part, book-wise, she was closed off. She didn't want to trust anybody, and she had honestly kind of been let down. I'm not gonna say she's been let down by everybody in her life, but she didn't live a good life. Again, very traumatic. All right, let's move on to book 2. So obviously I enjoyed that book. I also believe that ends on a cliffhanger, because I read the next book. See what I'm talking about? This month has been cliffhanger month. I was honestly reading cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger, and I'm just like, seriously, stop. I want a book that's not a cliffhanger. Like, how hard is it to ask for? I want to read this one book and then it'd be like a whole series connected together, where if I don't want to read every single book in the series, I could do that. But no, every single book was almost a cliffhanger. So obviously I go into book 2. I want to say he falls first, but I can't remember if he falls first in the first book or in the second book. But it definitely started as a convenience thing for him. I will say she was a virgin. Again, very traumatic when you see why. I'm not gonna say why she was a virgin, but like the whole storyline was very traumatic on like her to begin with. I will say he's a bad boy. Down bad. He falls like, somebody tell him to stand up. I'm joking. No, he can stay down. He was down bad, bro. Moving on. So that, before I move on, that series does have 2 other books in it. Yeah, but that was the end of like book 1 and book 2. Book 1 was the cliffhanger for book 2, but book 2 is the end of their story. And then the next book I read was Black Ties and White Lies.
I found this on the web for you, but that was the end of the book 1, book 2, book 1. The cliffhanger for book to book to the end of your story. Check it out.
Siri, wasn't nobody talking to you? Okay. Anyway, back to Black Ties and White Lies. God, I really can't talk. By Kat Singleton. I don't think this was my first read by her. Not entirely sure. Because honestly, I just been reading books I found on TikTok. But this one I found off Instagram. I was on my Bookstagram, and I'm assuming I followed the author because she was on my little timeline. And it was like releasing this month, in the month of February. And I was like, I want to read that. But you want to know what put me in was the part where like, I guess the girl was like, my boyfriend cheats on me, but his hotter, older brother wants me to marry him or something like that, or like be a fake fiance. But then it's another part that they use a line from the book where it's like, very inappropriate. So children block your ears. I was like, I'm on my knees under my fiance's desk while my ex-boyfriend comes into his office to talk to him. I mean, I kind of censored it anyway, but you get the gist. Yeah, so definitely read that because of Instagram. Also, I devoured that book in one day, so I enjoyed it. Now, I went back to the series before that book and I read Dead. Why can I not talk? Like, I am seriously struggling to talk right now. I read Dead Girls Never Talk. See, look, the title of the book, I Can't Talk. That one, yeah. So, it screams trauma from the get-go because it addresses suicide, it addresses assault. It has trigger warnings you should read before you read it. But it does scream redemption in terms of the girl and her relationship with the boy she liked. And honestly, her relationship with anybody, because she comes back after experiencing most of their trauma and she has a hard time trusting. She's closed off, you know, she's trying to figure out who did her dirty. Honestly, I will say that I did read this book because she and him were mentioned in book 1 and book 2, and that's kind of what made me stay on this series and read about them. And the last book, also attached to that series, which is book 4, is The Heartless Boys Never Kiss. This one is about the main character in book 1 and book 2's twin brother. He makes an appearance at the end of book 2. Because 1, nobody knew she had a twin brother. And then 2, he had been traumatized in his own way. So yeah, he is bad boy, traumatized. This is kind of like a redemption for him with one of her best friends. So basically, it's a best friend's brother's romance, but with sprinkling the trauma and the darkness. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. According to what I wrote, I devoured it in one day. I feel like towards the end of this book though, it could be categorized as right person, wrong time. But you have to get to the end of the book to see that categorization. Because I wouldn't give that categorization for the entire book. So, you have to read to find out. But it was dark, traumatic, redeeming in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, so I enjoyed that too, because I'm not gonna lie, all these books I either read in one day or 2 days. Like, I don't read books that I don't devour basically in like a 3-day span. I don't know why I did my hands like that. Yeah, but that's it. I read 14 books in February. Someone needs to go on TikTok and tell them I can't count, because I definitely said I read 16. I don't know where the other 2 books come. Goodreads not registering them. Kindle is also not registering that I read 16 books for February. So clearly I need to go learn how to count. Yeah, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching my, what is it called? February 2023 wrap up, or February wrap up, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you don't like, what you do like. Obviously, if you have book recs, drop them down in the comments, because you know I'm always looking for more books to read, some which I have already read. Yeah, that's everything. Peace out, Girl Scout. I gotta stop doing that. I do that so wrong. I will say, I know I'm a couple of days late filming this and posting it, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Honestly, February was a short month, but I should know that, seeing as my birthday is in February every year. So literally the halfway point.